Hey guys, what's going on? This is Josh from Spotted Euros, and behind me we have the 2009 Volkswagen Touareg. In this video, we are doing an ownership report. How much has this Touareg cost us? Is this thing a money pit? Is it no good? Do we hate it? Do we love it? Well, stay tuned. We're gonna talk about it. Okay guys, so like I said, we're going to talk about our Touareg Tdi, but before we get there, a word from our sponsors. Guess what? We don't have any sponsors. I'm the sponsor. I sponsor this channel. We're a small channel and we're looking to grow. So if you can do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I know I've been saying this every video, and for those who have subscribed, I thank you. Thank you very much for the support. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for leaving the comments below. But for the rest of this month, for the rest of the year, I've got to push this. So we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And guess what? We are pretty close. We'll be even closer if this video does really well. So like I said, if you hit the subscribe button, if this is a video you like, hit subscribe. Check out some of our other videos. It makes a big difference. Okay, so into today's video. So this is going to be an interesting video because I have been making these YouTube videos for more than the last 6 months. I have plenty of footage on our 2009 Touareg. We actually have footage of this Touareg before we even bought the car. So here's some footage of that. Checking out some Touaregs, but mainly checking out this 2009 Touareg. Every week, I'm tempted to get one of these Touaregs. This was the one that I was kind of looking at because it's the cheaper. I mean, it's given a value of this around $3,000. And although I'm hesitant for one of these Touaregs, as far as how it would sell, if I could pick this up for $3,000-4,000, I'm not really gonna worry that much. So it's interesting to see the Touareg sitting there before I owned it, before I've driven it, all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of interesting. So at that point, we determined that although this Touareg had some more miles compared to the other Touaregs, it was indeed in better shape. It didn't have any check engine lights. It was in decent shape. So the higher mileage actually helps as far as the sale price goes, brings down the cost, and that always makes it easier to buy. We've been on this car a couple weeks in a row. They were wanting more in the $5,000 range, I believe, but I think it was 3 weeks I watched and bid and was even the high bidder on this Touareg before they eventually sold it to me. So on June 7th, we bought this Touareg for $4,000. Now, we drove down with the V8 Touareg that we used to own that this replaced that. We picked it up on the trailer. Once again, we've got footage of that. Here's some footage of picking this Touareg up. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, we are picking up something big. I've always wanted one of these diesel Touaregs. I've always wanted to compare the V8 that we have and that we use all the time compared to the diesel version, the V6 diesel. Well, here it is. Here it is in all its glory. This looks pretty good. We picked up the Touareg, we towed it home with the V8. For some reason, I've always liked the look of a Touareg pulling a Touareg. There's just something, I don't know, it just seems right. Now when we got it home, we kind of realized that there were a couple of things to fix on this car. So here's the list of things that were wrong that we had to fix. The most expensive thing was the head unit. So when we picked up this Touareg, the head unit was no good. It didn't work. It kind of would try and boot up, but it never would come on. And the power button, which is actually kind of common, was broken. So anyway, we put a new head unit in. That's a pretty funny story. Now all of this content, all of this, these stories or videos that I bring up, obviously you can go check out those other videos if you haven't already. That's kind of the point of subscribing. If you hit subscribe, then you won't miss this stuff. But if you are new to this video, check out that other stuff, because there's plenty out there, especially on this Touareg here. So the head unit, we got it all the way from Australia, and it cost us $475.18. Kind of expensive, especially for a used head unit. The other big thing were the window regulators. So on the passenger side, both front and rear window regulators were bad. Tapes holding up this window. This window here, as you can see or hear, the regulator's bad. And we got 2 new ones, replaced it ourselves for $77.77. Now, moving on, the hitch. So this came with the factory hitch, but the connector wasn't there. Not sure why. It kind of is nice though, because it means the person who owned this before never towed with it. But we put in the connector itself for $15. That's no big deal. You basically unscrew a plastic block plate, put it in, and plug it in. The wiring and everything's all there. Now the next thing we did, which wasn't real crucial, but we did it anyway, was we updated the navigation map. Like I said, it was kind of something fun. What actually is really useful with it is getting the speed limit. So although the navigation itself is not really useful, I've tried to use it a couple times, and you can never really pull up an address for some reason. But it does show you your current location, and it will show you the speed limit. So especially when I'm driving a far distance, picking something up, it's definitely nice to have the speed limit constantly posted if it's an area that I'm not familiar with. Okay, so we did that. The navigation map itself was $30, $29.95 to be exact, and that was just a disc that we downloaded, pretty easy, and we got it off of eBay. Now, there's only really one thing, and this was more of a personal preference. Once again, you wouldn't have to do this, but the wheels. I switched out the wheels on this Touareg. Once again, there's a video on that. I'll put in some footage here. But we switched out the wheels. The wheels that were on it, never really liked. They were aftermarket wheels. That was kind of the main problem. And they were worn out. The finish on them wasn't really repelling much. Kind of had a lot of brake dust and stuff. So we switched out the wheels for basically identical wheels, identical size, but these are Q7 wheels. But we got those for 200 bucks, so that was a pretty easy buy anyway. The other thing that was wrong was the hood struts, holding up the hood. Couldn't do it. Now I actually just swapped those out. We've got a Touareg that's just sitting in the driveway right now. Swapped them out because the hood struts were so good on that car. So I'm trying not to turn that Touareg into a parts car, but it's too easy when it's just sitting there and it's got stuff on it. Okay, so that is pretty much everything as far as reconditioning the car. Now, I should say there are 2 other things that still need to get fixed. One, this windshield. I'm not sure that you can see it here, but this windshield's cracked, and a few people have made a couple comments on this windshield being cracked. Now, this windshield has been cracked the day that we bought it. I noticed it before we bought it. I noticed it every time I drive. The windshield is cracked, and I still haven't fixed it. It's one of those things that requires an appointment, requires someone else to do it, so it's just always kind of pushed off. But okay, so the mirrors still need to get fixed. The mirrors, I did clean them up. They look a lot better. You can see with them, but the motors themselves aren't really working. Let's get into what this car has cost me as far as maintenance. Now, this is pretty interesting. We got this car and it had 166,000 miles and 750 miles. Let's go in. Let's see how many miles this Touareg has on it right now. Okay, so if we come in here, let's see. let it focus. 184,000 miles, 528. So as you can see, we have put plenty of miles on this. I'm actually pretty surprised. That's pushing, we're getting close to 20,000 miles on this Touareg in just 6 months. How's that even possible? I don't know. Some people talk about driving a lot. Guess what? We've driven this a ton. Okay, so as you can see, a ton of miles. I'm actually kind of surprised by that, how many miles I've put on this. I mean, we're coming up on 20,000 miles. When we got it, the oil, I believe there was a sticker on the windshield. The oil was just recently changed. And so we used that oil for a while, and then we changed it once. So the cost as far as the oil change itself was $198.31. Now, that is a little high, but we also did the differentials at the same time. We put in new filters. I believe we put in a cabin filter, that kind of stuff. So we did a couple of things. That's what that 198 is coming to. And then also, I think I bought an extra jug of oil. So so far, this has cost me 200 bucks. In the 6 months that I've owned it, as far as maintaining it, 200 bucks. Now, the oil will be changed here soon, so you can kind of add on maybe another 150 bucks or so for an additional oil change. That should get done here in the next little bit. Now, the only other thing that I would really say is as far as maintenance on this or maintaining it, we did a video about cleaning the front end of this up. As you can see, that hood actually shines and reflects some light. We buffed down the hood. It was kind of faded. The video itself did really well, and it made a big difference on this Touareg. So we fixed the hood and put in new headlights. So basically the cost of the headlights, and we did fog lights. The headlight bulbs cost $23 and the fog lights cost $18. So for 240 bucks for 20,000 miles, that's pretty good. Now, as far as the cost of everything, if you kind of add up everything that this car itself cost me when I bought it, it comes pretty close to $5,000 if you were to add everything up. So, like I said, this car, how much money I have into it is $5,240 bucks basically. So not too bad. This has been extremely reliable. It hasn't had any problems, no mechanical problems. It doesn't leak oil. The bushings up front, they're making a little bit of noise. This car has been great. And we've driven it all over the place. We drove it in California on the beach on a family vacation. We've had a ton of fun. I love these TDIs. When I'm buying a Touareg, I think I'm gonna stick to buying these TDIs. If you are debating or wondering about buying one of these TDIs, I would definitely say yes, do it. 100%. This V6 has plenty of power. We've ripped this thing up hills. I've towed, 18 hours straight back and forth to California with this thing maybe shutting off for 30 minutes, and it does great. I love this Touareg. I love this TDI. So there we go. That's the end of the video. Do me a favor, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, and comment below. But otherwise, thanks guys. Thanks for watching.